I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Morgantown City Council regular meeting. We're in Monongalia County Commission Chambers, 243 High Street, second floor, Morgantown. And it is Tuesday, August 16th, 2022, and it is a little bit after 7 p.m. We're calling this meeting to order and asking the clerk if she would please call the roll.
Yes. Joe Buganim.
Present.
Bill Kowecki.
Here.
Ixia Vega.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Trumbull.
Here.
Dave Harshbarger.
Here.
Brian Butcher.
Here.
Mayor Celine.
Here. And I'd like the record to reflect that we have two members participating via Zoom this evening, Brian Butcher and Dave Harshbarger. And it's time to stand up and say the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Correspondence. We're on minutes. Approval of minutes. We're looking at the August 2nd, 2022 special meeting minutes and the August 2nd, 2022 regular meeting minutes. And if everybody just sort of shake their head if they agree that those minutes are fine as printed, unless you have some other kind of changes. And then we will go on to correspondence. And I do not have any correspondence. There's not any correspondence that I know of, unless somebody else wants to put any forth. Public hearings, there are no public hearings. Unfinished business, boards and commissions. I don't think we have any for today. Now we have the public portion. This is the public portion, which shall be subject to rules established by council and adopted by resolution. And that would be that someone would come to the microphone, that they would state their name and their address, and they would have 3 minutes to speak. And we're going to open this public portion. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Then we're going to close this public portion. Special committee reports. We do not have any special committee reports at this time. And then we will move on to the consent agenda, and there are no items on the consent agenda. So we are going on to new business. Item A, consideration of approval of the first reading of an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement with EAN Holdings LLC at the Morgantown Municipal Airport. So if the city manager has any comments
This is a good thing.
Good.
The request and proposal is that we enter into an agreement with off-airport concessions and lease agreement with EAN Holdings that will operate some rental cars, services for the airport customers. This will be accomplished off premises, so the rental cars will not actually be parked there, but when a customer actually requests a rental car, they'll come from that location, and the city will share in 10% of their revenues. In addition, they have purchased 6 parking spaces at the airport for their customer use. So overall, it's really a good program, and I think more and more airports are going to this method of doing it rather than having the kiosk right there at the airport itself.
Great.
Move to approve the lease agreement.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes, I'd like to know a little more how someone who wants to rent the car will go about obtaining the car?
Yeah, they'll contact by phone. The rental services will bring the vehicle to them, and they'll be able to access the vehicle there at the airport.
Will there be a designated phone at the
Yes,
airport?
that's my understanding,
Okay.
Councilman.
Very good, thank you.
Sounds great. Does anybody else have any questions? And if the clerk would please call the roll?
Yes, Joe Buganim,
Yes.
Bill Korecki,
Yes.
Ixia Vega,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trumbull,
Yes.
Dave Harshbarger,
Yes.
Brian Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Celine,
Yes. Passes unanimously. Consideration of approval of the salt bid for fiscal year 2022 to 2023. If the city manager has anything to speak about the
Yes,
salt bid, thank you.
I can address that. Salt, the cost of salt for snow removal has varied over time, and I've seen it where when there's a great demand, then the price goes up. And so the prices are fairly high, but we sent out a request for bid from 4 different organizations. 3 of them responded to bids on option 1, which was just salt. There was an option 2, which included salt that was treated with magnesium chloride, which helps lower the temperature in which the salt is active. So it really does improve the actual removal and melting of the snow. Our team recommended that we award this contract to the only bid that responded to option 2, which was Laurel Aggregates, in the amount of $136,500. Just for your information, that bid amount comes within the budget that was approved by council for this year. Currently, the city has roughly 1,000 tons of salt on hand, and an additional 1,000 tons will be filled to supply and prepare for the upcoming winter, with an additional 1,000 tons reserved by the contractor for immediate use by the city. So it's my recommendation that council approve this bid.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the bid from Laurel Aggregates.
Second?
Thank you. Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, I have, sorry. a few.
Go, Bill.
In the past, or not in the past perhaps, but is there a possibility that we could have lowered the cost by going in with the DOH or one of the other surrounding municipalities?
That's a possibility. I know that our engineer is in negotiations with Department of Highways with the District 4
Yeah.
out of Harrison County to coordinate and to combine those kinds of opportunities. And that's in association also with cleaning entryways and kind of working together on patching our asphalt in the wintertime. So it's just a longer process than we anticipated, but that certainly is a process we're pursuing.
Well, no, I appreciate that, and I understand there's the need to move. I think there was, in the past, some difficulty in competing for the salt, and to our detriment with getting in there late. So I appreciate the fact that you're moving forward on it. I'm wondering if we accept this now, though, are we precluding any possibility of doing a cooperative buy, or would we buy in addition, or would you look to that as a future activity?
Do you have any update on that?
Yeah, typically, we have gotten salt, the same salt that the state has used in the past. It tends to be a lower quality salt, a little bit more cinders, so dirtier salt, so not so much from the dirt standpoint, but it doesn't necessarily have the same effect, which is another reason why we typically recommend use of the treated salt with magnesium chloride, just because it's able to work at lower temperatures. So when we do have those really bitterly cold days that are, at 0 temperatures or below, the treated salt will actually still work, where the salt that is sometimes used elsewhere, it works better when there's heavier or more traffic on it. So some of our back roads that don't see as much traffic needs to have a little bit higher quality salt to be able to have the same effects on it.
No, I do appreciate that. I know that we've had the advantage of some other purchases that were made in cooperation with other entities that have lowered our cost. and also the process in terms of bidding. I'd like us to continue to pursue that. However, I certainly appreciate this, and I would vote for it.
I think it's been a while. Since we did.
Just for your information, we are, I don't want to say close, but we are pursuing the location of an additional storage bin on the north side of the community to help in the cost effectiveness of clearing the snow. So there's a good chance we'll even increase that. So your comments about the state contract may come into play anyway later on in the year.
Thank you.
Councilor Vega?
I think that it's a pretty good deal. I would vote for this.
It was me that had a question, I think. Oh, pardon me. I was hearing something this side, sorry. What did she say?
Do we usually do the magnesium chloride treated salt? Is that what we have on hand left over?
We did that last year, yes.
Okay, and how much do we normally go through in a year? Like,
It varies greatly.
okay,
Depends on the amount of snow, but my understanding it's right around 1.5 to 2 tons.
okay, so we have a ton on hand. We're buying a ton
Right.
with another ton in, or
If we have a
1,000
if we have a
tons.
severe
Sorry,
winter.
1,000
There's a
tons
few more zeros.
in reserve. Okay.
Yeah.
We last year we went through our smaller building of salt.
Okay.
So we went through, and I think that holds closer to thousands of tons.
Okay.
All right. The clerk would call the roll.
Yes. Joe Buganim,
Yes.
Bill Koecki,
Yes.
Ixia Vega,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Trumbull,
Yes.
Dave Harshbarger,
Yes.
Brian Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Celine.
Yes, passes unanimously. Now we're on to the city manager's report.
Thank you. There is a group of individuals that are working on developing a recommendation to council regarding vacant structures that will be brought to before council within the next month, I would guess, that will address the fee structure as well as what we can do to incentivize better the care for older structures and dilapidated structures, and eventually the raising of them if necessary. So be looking for that. It'll be coming. The other comment I had was I attended a vitality committee for Main Street for the downtown Morgantown this morning, and I think most of you know that for there's a pilot program going on for 3 months in which the partnership is assuming management of the downtown Morgantown organization, a Main Street organization. And it was interesting to watch it work this morning because Amy Loomis has been assigned temporarily to oversee that, and I think there's some really good energy going on right now there. Although the next thing I wanted to address kind of has to do with that a little bit. That one of the chief areas of concern that was addressed this morning by and a lot of them were business owners in the downtown area relates to how can I say this, misconduct by certain residents in the downtown area that makes it really difficult for for property owners to attract new businesses to the downtown. So there's going to be an effort by the business community to provide some recommendations as to how we can work together to help mitigate some of those issues in the downtown. Finally, I attended just last week the Sunnyside organization meeting in which our architect, who's empowered with, we have a contract with them to design and provide some concepts for what the Sunnyside area is going to look like. And I was really impressed with the vision that's going into that. My concern and the concern I've expressed, and I believe council shares that concern, that is, we can't. Sunnyside has to be viewed as part of the downtown, just like the downtown, just like High Street is, and just like the Wharf District is. We can't develop a. There can be some difference in the way it's presented, but there's got to be some common themes that runs through the whole downtown, so there's some cohesiveness within the city. And there's going to be an effort to try to make sure that we're bringing in these other groups to provide some overall input into that process. But I'm really excited about what's transpiring there, and I would assume that in the near future the city will be approached about participating in a significant way in the development of that area. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Report from the city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. We are still accepting applications for police officer. One quick way to locate the application is to go onto our website at morgantownwv.gov. There is a search tool there, and all you have to do is type in police officer and hit enter, and it's the first link that you come to. It brings up a PDF application to apply. I believe that our exam, our agility, and our written test will be at around end of October or early November. That date has not been set yet, but we're still accepting those. So reach out to the clerk's office if you know anyone that is interested in that. We'll be glad to give them the tools that they need to get that application in. I've been talking about the fire department and their agility test. So they had the agility test at the end of July. We had 27 folks who passed the agility. So the written test is coming up at the end of August, and we're hoping that we get a lot of folks to come forward as eligible candidates. So I just wanted to update you on that since I've been talking about it for so long. Also, I sent you an email a couple days ago about Municipal Government Week. So that's October 17th through the 20th. So I'm hoping that you all can get back to me on some of those ideas. If you have a different idea how we can kind of educate our citizens about our local government and have some events for kids and for adults, we would love to do that and bring in and showcase some of our city buildings, such as the Met or the library, and bring some folks in to celebrate that week for us. So send me your ideas and we'll move forward on that. And then lastly, the clerk's office is vamping up for election. You know, it's not something that is turnkey. So we've been working with Andrew, Stacy, and his staff to do the marketing, because it is going to be different this year. Not all council or not all wards will be up for election. So we want to make sure that folks are aware of that. If you have any other ideas, I know that the last time we had an election in 21, some folks said, I don't receive the paper and I don't listen to the news. And so how do I know about the election? So I'm looking for that. A great idea.
Mob bills.
Yes, and we did inquire about that also. So that is an option. We're looking into that. Hopefully that will reach our residents. So other than that concludes my report.
Wonderful. Thank you. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. We are working on various ordinances for your consideration, some requested by council, some requested by staff. We hope to have a couple of those for your next committee of the whole, but haven't wrapped up all the threads on those yet. The next home rule plan amendment is among those. We've discussed various forms of it for quite a while now, and we are working with state agencies to get comments and support for the initiatives that we had discussed pursuing, but also looking at other initiatives that council members have proposed that have been, many of which at least have been successful in other communities. One was discussed at the meeting Kim mentioned today, to put city tax liens or fee liens on parity with federal and state taxes that are collected at delinquent sales. So something other communities have done, and we certainly can explore. And we'll look to get those to you as quickly as we can. The other thing to update is the City Council had approved the application to the Voluntary Remediation Program through DEP for the White Park site. We did receive the conditional acceptance of the application to the program. There are a few comments on the acceptance to address, and staff has already updated the map to address those, and our consultant's working to provide a plan to address the other couple of sampling-related comments. But we're moving through that program and moving forward with the planned projects there. And that's all I have to report this evening.
Thank you. City council members, Councilor Aldegono, would you be willing to start?
Sure. I don't really have too much to report on a personal note. Everybody, I'm sure, has seen WVU students are back. So thank you, everyone, for all the patience. Teachers go back to work this week, and students will return to school the following week. So that's something to keep in mind. So get ready for the school buses to be on the road again. Plan for your trip to work to have a little bit more of a delay because of that. And the municipal, am I saying this right? Municipal League meeting, is that what it? Conference, Municipal League Conference. I had a wonderful time. Thank you all for that and all the help with it and getting me signed up. I really appreciate it. So other than that, that's all I have. Oh, and real quick, I'd like to say kudos to Councilor Trumbull on her presentation at the Municipal Conference League. I said that right again? Okay.
Close enough.
Close enough? All right. She had a whole cheering section in the front row, so.
I appreciated that very much. I never looked behind you all.
That's all I got for now.
Very good. At the Municipal League, too, beside our deputy mayor making her presentation, we also had a good presentation from our Marvin Davis, who we actually performed very well. We displayed very well as a city. I think kudos to staff and wonderful activities that are actually occurring here. Sometimes you don't hear about, but it's nice to know that they are being recognized statewide. And in terms of what our city manager said earlier on when we were addressing Sunny Side Up, he was very proactive in terms of saying, as we talked, for example, about how Sunnyside might access the riverfront, he was suggesting that it was not just simply Sunnyside that needed the access, but also the rest of the city, and that we should consider that in a more holistic manner. And I totally agree with that. I think that's the entire concept of Sunnyside was not simply meant to be Sunnyside only. It was meant to be near campus neighborhoods that were being developed. And I think we are cognizant of that, and we are taking that into consideration, and we do really need to think of these things in terms of the whole. And I was pleased to see the city manager bring that up and be an advocate for it too, and I think it was heard. So that's good in terms of what we're moving for. We're making good moves, is what I'm saying, as a city, and sometimes you don't hear about that, but I'm pleased to see that that's happening. On another level here within the second ward, and in particular over in South Park, bring your pocketbook over to that area on Saturday. It's the great super sale. You can find all kinds of wonderful items. Plus, I think there are people over there who will be offering, I think the church is going to be offering kind of refreshments of sorts. So in any case, you probably can find what you need and lots of things that you don't. And but it's a lot of fun, and it's quite good for the neighborhood. The next SPAN meeting, the next South Park Association of Neighbors meeting is on the 24th, and that will be at Eaton Park, so at least tentatively planned here, unless it's, the weather says otherwise. Lots of good things happening, and it's the new season. Everybody's out for the festivals, looking out for the kids, anxious to send Joe back to work.
Glad somebody is.
What does that mean?
In any case, thank you. That's all my report.
I think we should always be careful to say that Eaton Park is the park and not the restaurant for
Yeah.
meetings, because some people may not be aware of the park and may show up at the wrong place, although I doubt it if they're a good neighborhood association.
Well, let me give you, it's the corner of Morris and Park Street.
There we go.
It's the green area there that is called Eaton Park.
I like it. I like it. I also very much appreciated that the Municipal League came to Morgantown and everyone's participation in it and contributions. It was really nice event, including a casino night, which I thought was interesting, and learned all kinds of things that I didn't know about before. Blackjack. It's like they're providing cards explaining how blackjack works. This was not true gambling. This was gambling for fun. But it is a really nice, these types of meetings are really nice learning opportunities because of all of the classes that were offered, and also opportunities to network with other cities and be able to discuss municipal issues in a variety of settings, including social settings. So it was just a nice, really nice, well-done event, and I'd like to thank our clerk's office for their participation in it and helping with the organization before and during. So thank you, and thank you to everybody else who did such a nice job representing our city. I'm looking forward to our continued work with MUB on recreation possibilities with the new reservoir, Coven Creek, Fliegel Reservoir and Dam. It's a unique opportunity to offer recreation and a brand new water body in our area, including non-motorized boating, fishing, walking, biking. So I'm just looking forward to that coming to pass. Let's see. Oh, with regard to Municipal Government Week, it would be really neat to do something that was like a read aloud and an activity at the library, just as one. I think one of the other council members mentioned the library as one possible location, but it would be neat to do a themed, like if we're doing something with kids, a themed read aloud and activity might be wonderful. And I would just like to say, as all the concert series are wrapping up for the year, how much I appreciate Bow Park and their Sounds of Summer concert series, and which takes place in the neighborhoods, and also the wonderful concerts that have been going on at our waterfront with Vincent Kitch. So I just think people really appreciate it, and they express that appreciation, and they come back over and over again to the concerts, and it just makes a big difference in our community to have those types of events with food trucks all around. So kudos to those, and that can be the end of my report. And is there someone willing to read us into,
Get some other counselors.
we have to keep going.
Generally, you
Keep
finish
going.
up, but
I
that's
know,
okay.
I know. I just went in order, and then I thought I was the end, and I wasn't. All right.
It's okay, you usually go
Can't,
last.
I know, and I was used to that, but somehow I got in the line and.
I don't have too much to report. I was out with COVID for almost 3 weeks, so lucky to be alive and super grateful. So not too much on this report, but I would love it if everybody could drive to Wiles Hill sometime this week and check out our blessing box at that Church of the Brethren. We are getting a lot of great folks that are filling it, but we don't have a lot of people taking anything out. So it would be really great if y'all could take a little peek, maybe post it on your your council pages. That would be super helpful to make sure that people know that this is available. We have a Sister Cities Commission on the 25th. And it's super great because now if you work in the city of Morgantown, you can apply to be a part of the Sister Cities Commission, which you could not before. So this is a very exciting opportunity for everybody. So please feel free to apply. We're a great bunch. There is a single stream recycling drop-off event August 27th. We are hoping to have the Health and Wellness Commission at the next Arts Walk to talk about mental health and to spread awareness about the changed phone number for the suicide hotline, which I believe is 988. It's very bad of me to not remember this right now, but please check out that new number and spread the word to make sure that people are focusing on their mental health. It's been a rough, weird couple of years with COVID and coming out and coming back in, and it seems like the world's always on fire, so be sure to be checking in on yourself. And I believe that concludes my report.
Thank
If
you.
you can't remember the number, just blame it on COVID brain. I'm still using that one every so often, you know. I was excited that despite getting canceled earlier in the week, the Chris Haddix and Hillbilly Gypsies concert was rescheduled and happened on Sunday. Weather still wasn't great, but we made it work. And we're always happy to watch Chris perform. He's a Woodburn 5th Ward resident, so we're very supportive. A lot of neighbors from the neighborhood were there. I attended last night with Councilor Kowecki the YCF and the Arts Council of Greater Morgantown Arts Grants Award ceremony at the Met. I attended that last year, and this year I was excited to see that there were several organizations whose main mission isn't necessarily arts programming, but they are getting in there and supporting the arts, like Friends of Deckers Creek is planning to do an outdoor arts series. MRTC is doing the handmade market, and they're putting a mural in the Wharf District. And the Botanic Garden is looking to expand some sculpture in their area. So I was happy to see those organizations represented. The Planning Commission met last week, and as you all are well aware, because Attorney Simonton made you aware, we heard a recommendation for some firearms zoning regulation, and I just wanted to report that no action was taken on that. The planning director, or development services director, my apologies, and staff made a few recommendations for alternatives that we should consider compared to what was brought before us by Protect Morgantown. And we decided to take some additional time, get more information, get more community input. The last thing that I personally want to do is rush into something reactionary and not think it through and what makes the most sense for Morgantown in general. So no action was taken on that. It'll be brought back before us in the coming months, I'm sure. Other than that, just a few Woodburn activities to report on. There will be a Woodburn Community Complex Mural Community Painting Day, Saturday, August 20th, this Saturday, from 12 to 5 at the Community Complex in the gymnasium. The artist she's doing one of the fabric style murals that adheres to the wall, so she is having community members come out and help her paint panels for that to be incorporated. So if you're interested in public art and having your artistic talents shown off in a mural. Celebrate Woodburn, an arts community, which is one of the Beau Park Sounds of Summer concert series. Concerts will be happening Thursday, August 25th from 6 to 9 p.m. in Whitmore Park, directly behind the original Mario's Fishbowl. Chris Haddix will also be performing at that, along with Lords of Leicester and Sugar Maple, Sugar Maple is made up of some neighborhood folks as well, so we're very excited about that. I will unfortunately miss it, so I hope someone can come out and see that one. And the final Woodburn event upcoming on September 11th, a Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. We will be having our community block party and picnic in the 600 block of Louise Avenue. I'll have more information on that at upcoming meetings, but wanted to make sure everyone got that on their calendar. That's all.
Thank you. Dave Harshbarger.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to thank the city and our contractor Anderson Excavating for being able to pave 3 sections of our rail trail, 1 in Decker Street, 2 along the Caperton Trail in the Wharf District and towards Reynolds Hall from near the kayak building. Those sections were 20 years old, original paving, and they are now smooth and new. So thank you for that. And also would like to report too, just a reminder that we also in the South Hills neighborhood are having our annual block party picnic the same day as the deputy mayor. It is from 4 to 7:30 in South Hills. And I'll send out invitations once we have those to folks that are able to attend. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brian Butcher.
Hello, thank you. Yeah, my report's going to be pretty short. I do have COVID-19 right now, so, but I just wanted to quickly say that Morgantown Pride is going to have their parade on the 27th, and the block party is on the 28th. I believe there's somewhere around 50 vendors registered, and a lot of people still want to register. The registration has closed, unfortunately. Of course, we'll always accept donations, but we don't have any spots left for vendor membership. Yeah, I hope to be back and healthy and back in council chambers soon. I don't have much else to report on. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for putting forth the effort today. So, I already gave my report out of order, and so now it's time for executive session. Is there someone who is willing to otherwise?
I would
I
move
can
that
just do it.
pursuant to West Virginia Code Section 6-9A 4B9 to discuss matters protected by attorney-client privilege or potential litigation, and that pursuant to West Virginia Code Section 6-9A 429 to discuss acquisition or development of real estate in the 1st and 6th Ward, we move into executive session.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? All right. Ayes have it. We're going to move into executive session. Pardon? Do we